we started the Quarry in June. What have you learnt about delivering news in a different way since then?
I guess one of the key messages has always been, or one of the key conundrums we've faced is whether people would pay for news, whether they will pay for high value investigations. And I think in the last 6 months, we've proven that with the right story promoted in the right way, that they will. And for us now, it's just a case of building on that kind of momentum.
And one of the things that doing a bit differently to other people is going much deeper into news stories rather than sort of just going on a sort of top level. What sort of stories have you been covering that you've done more in depth, that you've noticed that have had a good connection?
I mean, the biggest story we've run that nobody else touched on, and nobody else still has touched on, I guess, is the shadow tanker fleet and the island's connections to the insurance of shadow tankers and what that enables around the globe through one specific company. And that has been incredibly newsworthy on a global scale, and even more so now we're seeing what's happening in the Middle East as well, and how funding of all these operations is so important. And I think we've been able to add several layers to that story that weren't being reported on elsewhere, just through the different tools that we've got available for reformatting, helping with the research and the investigation, and presenting it in engaging ways for people, especially for our paid members. So we've launched a new app in the background just for subscribers that we're testing at the moment. And this is all looking at how you can reformat the news, or how the user can engage in the news in new ways.
So that's an interesting thing. One of the things with the Quarry is trying to not just do news in the same way that it's been done for years upon years. So on that point, this new app that's available for subscribers, what's that enabling them really to do? To dig deeper, to take more control over what they're getting out of that story?
I think your point about them taking control over the story is so important, and that's exactly what it's designed. It's there for you to consume news as you want to consume the news. We're not all sitting around waiting for a whole slab of text to appear in front of us to read. Because what was the first problem we had, or one of the first things we were looking at, is that news organisations have tended to just go from, well, here was a newspaper, we're just slapping that up onto the internet. We're so many steps removed from that now, especially with how people have started to use AI to quiz and question. And not everybody wants the news in the same way. Not everybody thinks that one piece of information is important to them as the next, and you want them to be able to surface what they want to see in a story or get out of a story. As long as the information in the background is solid and verifiable, then how people take that forward, it should really be up to them. So whether they want to have a written conversation with it, whether they want to have a audio conversation to chat to it and get it to respond back, whether they want to see timelines, whether they want to see different illustrations and graphics, just a summary of a story, a whole story, it should be up to them. And that's what this app is looking to achieve. You as a user are then in control of how you can consume that news in ways that weren't even possible 6 months ago.
One of the differences is we're not covering every single story. We're not chasing every press release that comes in or every breaking news, because I guess we want to show it as a different angle, or taking the story further than the way everyone else is doing. And that's maybe not as obvious in the fact of less is more, I suppose. So we're only covering what we see as key stories.
Yeah, and I think that's been a difficult mindset to get into as well from the outset. We always knew that as a micro news operation, we're not going to be able to cover everything that happens. It was certainly not in the way that we want to, or that gives the readers value over and above what they're getting elsewhere. And that mindset shift has been really interesting and kind of difficult in the early stages, but like I think we've nailed it down now into what are our strengths, where are we going to add value to things. There is like obviously there's still free content, and there's free content that will give you a really good grounding on the key issues that are affecting the island each week. But we don't want to waste people's time. Basically, we've all got busy lives, so we need to distill that kind of stuff down into what's digestible and what's important, while really picking on some key topics that we dive into in a deep and valued way.
And we're using AI to make things easier and to be able to add more value. But I think some people still think that AI is simply picking up a press release, rewriting it, and then pushing it out. But it's actually far more nuanced than that, isn't it?
I mean, in terms of, I think the way we used AI has fundamentally shifted even in the 8 months that we've been working on this. And the way that you can interrogate states reports or big detailed documents is fascinating, and it's really, really useful in spotting patterns and just surfacing things that you might not otherwise have spotted. And actually, like, sometimes it's been quite, I don't know, it's funny to see how different people have adopted AI in different ways. Some people have got to the stage where they get it to make a funny picture of themselves, or some people might have got a little bit of integration in terms of, I think we're beyond just making poems out of it now. But I think you've got to be more sophisticated with your use of AI. It's so easy to spot when somebody's just using it for a bit of marketing bump. The phraseology is the same. We can all spot the patterns, and you're seeing that a lot at the moment, and that's something that we're really keen to avoid. That if we basically don't use AI if it's not going to be our voice and our genuine voice. What's the point? So yeah, so it's a research tool. It's a reformatting tool. But I guess like the major shift we've had is, and it's happening in at the forefront of journalism at the moment, is how you have become coders essentially, and ways that you can present information by using coding, vibe coding, is like incredible and incredibly powerful.
So we've gone 8 months, already started with a paid subscriber base now, a free subscriber base, and that's building nicely. There's a good following on the podcasts and YouTube. What's the next stage? What's the sort of next, I guess, 4 months to take it to a year look like?
Yeah, so I guess we're looking, obviously we're always going to be looking to build on our direct audience. So the numbers of people on our mailing list is always going to be key for us. And that's like growing monthly and growing in really good numbers monthly, which is really, really promising. The ratio of paid to free subscribers is good as well. It's better than industry standards. That's really positive. So what we need to look at doing now is building on that momentum. And we're not going to be doing that in a traditional way for a digital business. So yeah, it's a digital product, but we want to be engaged with our audience. And the only way to do that properly is in-person events. It's getting out there. It's people seeing us and what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's a dialogue with our readers so that they can inform what we do and what we should be looking at. And yeah, just that general visibility out in the community, but with genuine connections to people rather than just sponsoring a few posts on Facebook and building or I almost described as a shallow relationship. It's not gonna. There's no longevity to that.
And I guess sort of finally, do you see the sort of future of local news changing a lot? Or do you think it's an exciting future, or in some places it's dying? How do you see it here?
I mean, I guess it's the same as any industry. Like the people that don't adapt quickly now will die and will fade, and like whether that's I don't think that's a big bang moment. I think that's like a slow fizzling out. But with that is such a huge amount of opportunities for people like us, and hopefully younger people, like to come into the industry, small, nimble, forward-thinking operations that are really embedded in their communities and know what they care about, know their topics, know how to present in engaging ways. There's like such an exciting future on that side of things. So small independent outlets, you know, we're bound to say it's what we set up, but there was a reason why we set it up. And that's because I think being a traditional news operator at the moment is really, really, really tough.